It is no secret to longtime fans of the channel that trading card games have been a big influence in my life, both on and off the channel. In this series, both DemonBattler and myself will be opening 24 packs, or one box, of each core Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set in chronological order. After each opening, we will build decks from all of the cards we have opened thus far, then duel each other in a best-of-3 match with 3 prizes up for grabs to improve our decks. The winner will receive 2 of those prizes, and the loser will get 1. The possibilities for prizes are almost limitless, including single cards, sealed product, structure decks, and much more. Every card in the entire game's history will be obtainable in some form. However, neither of us will be able to rest on past laurels easily. The ever-changing official Forbidden and Limited list, our own choices of cards to be banished to the Shadow Realm, and even changes to the very rules of the game will keep our decks and duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Light of Destruction was released May 13th, 2008, and this is the final set in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX era. This set introduced the Arcana Force archetype, a series of monsters that are all based around having different effects from the result of a coin toss. This set also introduced my favorite archetype of all time, the Lightsworn archetype. They are a series of light attribute monsters with varying types that all center around milling cards every turn to fuel graveyard effects. This set also introduced support for the Frog, Cloudian, Gladiator Beast, and Batteryman archetypes. This is a big set. This might be bigger than Phantom Darkness for our series, just because there are so many low rarity cards that are going to have an impact. We will start with Volcanic Queen. This is the first kaiju at low rarity that we will have access to. This is a common, and it has not been reprinted, so this is our only chance to get this card. What this does is it will allow you to tribute over one of your opponent's monsters, just like a kaiju, but it does take up your normal summon for the turn, and it will burn your opponent every turn. This may be in side decks to deal with certain unkillable boss monsters, but it will get better once we get farther into Yu-Gi-Oh's history. The Arcana Force monsters are mostly unplayable, which is sad because Arcana Force was one of the big bads archetypes in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime, but there is one noteworthy Arcana Force card that we will be looking for, which is Arcana Force Zero the Fool. We will not be using this for either of its effects. However, it is noteworthy because this is a monster that cannot be destroyed by battle. It's not as good as Marshmallow, but this could wind up seeing play if we need a body that can't be destroyed by battle. And then we get to the common Lightsworns. Jane Lightsworn Paladin will see play in Lightsworn decks as well as any decks that revolve around the graveyard that do want to play things like Reinforcement of the Army. It's very searchable off of Witch of the Black Forest, off Reinforcement of the Army. It's a 2100 if it attacks an opponent's monster, which is very powerful. And then Garoth probably will see play in a Lightsworn course specifically. Every time one of your Lightsworn monsters mills a card, you get to mill an extra 2 cards, and then you get to draw a card for each Lightsworn monster that was milled this way. And it's an 1850, which isn't bad. Now, this card hasn't historically seen play in Lightsworn, but this is my pet card in Lightsworn. It's Grogonith Lightsworn Dragon. This is an amazing reanimation target. So it's a level 6, so it's a 1 tribute. It's not too bad to bring out. Its base stat line isn't great, but if you're playing any sort of Lightsworn core, this can get very, very large as it gains 300 attack and defense for each Lightsworn monster with a different name in your graveyard, and it pierces. So this is just a giant piercing body, which is shown to be problematic in Progression Series standards. And next we have the Batteryman Support. This is what vaults Batteryman to playability, and I've been waiting to play Batteryman for this set. We have a Batteryman Charger, which is very powerful. A Batteryman Charger lets you special summon a Batteryman from your hand or your deck when you normal summon it. It is a tribute, but it's not too bad to get out. And then it's also a pretty good sized body because the Batteryman monsters tend to get a little bit swarmy. So it's baseline 2100, but with one other Batteryman, it's 2400. And then Batteryman Microcell is a huge card advantage engine. This will let you, on flip, special summon a Batteryman of level 4 or lower from your deck, and then when it gets flipped face up and then is destroyed by battle, you get to draw a card. So it is a +1 when it's destroyed by battle. That is going to see just all kinds of play. The next noteworthy card is Demise of the Land. This will not see play now, but this will see play later on. This is a field spell searcher. It's not good now, but this will see play later on once we have more powerful field spells. This lets you activate a field spell from your deck when your opponent special summons a monster. And then next we have Cup of Ace. This will be played in certain combo decks. This would have been great if we still had Secret Barrel in the format, because we would have played this in the Chainburn deck, because this was playing things like Secret Barrel, which care about the number of cards in your opponent's possession, and whether you get to draw 2 or your opponent gets to draw 2, you generally don't care, just because it gives your opponent more resources to deal damage with based on your burn cards that deal damage based on the number of cards your opponent controls in their hand, but unfortunately with Secret Barrel banned, we won't really be able to take advantage of this. Wetlands is a field spell for frogs. Since most of the frogs are level 2 Aqua-type monsters that are also water attribute, this turns those into pretty sizable bodies and will probably be played in the frog deck once we get the rest of the support for it. And then we have some additional Batteryman support. There's a lot of Batteryman support in this set. A Quick Charger is a quick play that lets you get back 2 Batteryman monsters from your graveyard, which is very strong. And then Short Circuit is the win condition for Batteryman. If you control 3 or more Batteryman monsters, which is not difficult, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. This is very powerful and will probably see play as a 1-of in that deck. A Golden Bamboo Sword. We finally get the payoff for playing Broken Bamboo Sword. If you control a Bamboo Sword equipped spell, it is Pot of Greed. And then moving on to the traps, we have Limit Reverse. This is the card that made Destiny Hero a Disc Commander just vault to playability, because this is another way to resurrect Disc Commander. This will see play in certain archetypes that revolve around monsters that have low attack values. Then next we have Portable Battery Pack, which is double Call of the Haunted for Batterymen. This is going to see play in the Batteryman archetype. A lot of the Batteryman monsters are weak, but they get some of the most powerful support in the game, even by today's standards. And then the last common I'd like to go over is Summon Limit. This will not be played now, but this is a very powerful floodgate that will see a tremendous amount of play once we get to Links. So I'm really hoping to see at least 2 of these, because this is going to be important for very special summon heavy decks, anything that Link spams. And even it could see play against some of the Synchro Spam archetypes that will come up in 5D's era, but this will mostly get better later on once we get to Link format. At the rare slot, we have a lot of power as well, a lot of very important cards. The first one is Lumina, Lightsworn Summoner, which is the core of our Lightsworn decks, because a lot of the more powerful Lightsworns are at high rarity, but if we can pick up several of these, we will have a very powerful deck. Lumina does get limited, but it doesn't stay limited for too long, and once it comes off the limit list, it's still relevant. So what this does is it lets you discard a card once per turn to revive a level 4 lower Lightsworn, and it mills 3, which is big. One of the bigger rares that we're going to be looking for, not now, but for later, is Substitoad. Substitoad is the card that got Mass Driver banned, and it also got some other sacrifice outlets, such as Cannon Soldier, banned in the OCG. So what this does is it lets you tribute a monster to special summon a frog monster from your deck, and then it makes all of your other frogs unable to be destroyed by battle. So this lets you throw all of your frog monsters into the graveyard very easily, and it can let you perform some disgusting combos. We won't be able to realize those combos until we get a little bit more frog support in 5Ds, but this card is single-handedly going to get Ronin Totem banned when we get to the midway point in 5Ds. I can almost guarantee you that. The next rare I'd like to discuss is Glorious Illusion. Glorious Illusion is very important for the Lightsworn archetype specifically. It's Call of the Haunted for Lightsworns that mills 2 cards a turn. So this fuels your deck and it lets you revive something big. This is the reason why I like Grogonith and Lightsworn. Next at the super rare slot, we have some Lightsworn support, and we have a couple of very important support cards for other archetypes. Raikou Lightsworn Hunter is playable outside of the archetype. As a flip effect, you can destroy any card on the field and then mill 3 cards. This is powerful outside of the archetype and more powerful in the archetype. Now, Wolf is something we actually won't want to see. This is more of a constructed card. It does get some low rarity reprints later, but this card isn't really good unless you have at least 2 of it. What this is it's a 2100 that can only be summoned by a card effect, and then if it's milled, you get to special summon it. This includes with cards such as Foolish Burial. Ducker Mobile Cannon is an interesting one as well. So Ducker Mobile Cannon lets you buy back a level 4 monster in your graveyard. This is the first real good way that we have to recur monsters. The big super rare I'm going to be looking for is Gladiator Beast Geyseris. This card single-handedly escalated Gladiator Beasts to the top of the meta at the time. This is very easy to make, and it is single-handedly responsible for Gladiator Beast Bestiari getting limited. So this contact fuses from Bestiari and 1 other Glad, and then you just get to pop 2 things when it gets special summoned in any way, and then it can tag out for 2 Gladiator Beasts. It's a pretty low investment card for a high payoff. If we get one of these, we almost certainly have to play Glad. And then at the ultra rare slot, we have a lot more Lightsworn support, and the rest of these cards aren't really great. We have Lila Lightsworn Sorceress, which is back row removal on a 1700 body. You can still attack with it too, which is pretty sweet. You can attack with it and then pop a back row, and then it mills 3. This is a card that will be dragging us towards Lightsworn if we get it. A Celestia is the big tribute payoff for Lightsworns. It's a 2300 tribute monster that if you tribute a Lightsworn monster for its tribute summon, you get to mill 4 and then pop 2 of your opponent's cards. A Solar Recharge is also fantastic Lightsworn support. This is Destiny Draw for Lightsworns, and you get to mill 2 cards. This is a great way to get cards like Wolf out of your hand when you don't want them, because Wolf is a card you don't want to draw. It is the Dex Garnet. And then there's Destiny End Dragoon and Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem as well. But those will not be seeing play in our progression series because those require a lot of high rarity cards. And then we do have some secret rares to go over as well. There are only 10 of them, but there's still only 1 per box, so it's very unlikely that we get any of these, but some of them are quite powerful. A Guardian of Order is a pretty good bomb. If you control 2 or more light monsters, you can special summon it for free, so it will go in any light-based archetype. The cover card and the ghost rare in the set is Honest. Honest is a 1900 defender that you can return it from your field to your hand during your main phase, and it is a hand trap that will single-handedly win a light monster battle. It will cause the monster that gets attacked or is battled, because you can use this offensively as well. Whenever a light monster you control battles, you can discard this to give your monster attack equal to the attack of the monster that it's battling. This is not once per turn, so if you have multiples of these, this can get extremely swingy and can single-handedly cause your opponent to lose the game. But because it is such high rarity, it is very unlikely we will be getting more than 1. A Judgment Dragon is the boss monster for the Lightsworn archetype. This was a very terrifying card, was semi-limited, and I believe eventually this was limited. This is the Dark Arm Dragon for Lightsworns. It can only be special summoned by having 4 more Lightsworns with different names in your graveyard. It's a 3k body that you can pay a stack to destroy all other cards on the field. This is not once per turn, so if you have floating effects on your opponent's side, you can just pay another 1,000 to destroy all of the monsters that your opponent floated into. And then Aaron is another powerful Lightsworn monster. It's a 1600 Light Warrior, very searchable. And then if it attacks a defense position monster before damage calc, you get to shuffle the monster into the deck. This will cause flip effects to happen, but since damage calc doesn't happen, this can just shuffle any monster it attacks into the deck. Aaron is fantastic. It is unfortunately a secret rare. However, it does get reprinted in a tin much later on. So if we do get a Lightsworn core, we may be able to augment our deck with that. And then the last secret rare I would like to talk about is Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo. This card is a huge pain in the butt. A lot of decks in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Will often just scoop to this card. This is a small body, it's a 1200 attack, 1300 defense, that just straight up prevents players from special summoning monsters. This won't be good now, but once we get more summoning mechanics, especially into links, this card will get very strong. Now, there were 2 more sets that were released at this time. The day before Light of Destruction was released, Champion Pack 6 arrived at local game stores on May 12th, 2008. We won't be opening this pack, unfortunately, because of some circumstances with the release schedule and a very powerful reprint set coming out. And this is the only chance we will have to open this, but I will go over the cards anyway. At the common slot, there really isn't anything too crazy, but at the rare slot, this has a Stratos reprint. And this is the only Stratos reprint we'll get for a while. Blade Knight is cool, but it's a little dated. Mage Power is interesting. I think this is the first low rarity reprint of Mage Power. And then the holos aren't really great. Rigorous Reaver is just not great, and then the rest of these cards are just rarity upgrades. But this is the big one. The first Gold series was released on April 2nd, 2008. And boy, did this reprint some cards. This reprinted a lot of extremely powerful cards. So the way these worked is these were different from any other pack at the time. Each Gold Series box contained 1 pack of 25 cards. 22 commons and 3 gold rares. The way we will be handling the Gold Series is instead of spinning the wheel, you'll be able to take a 1 Gold Series pack for each spin that you are entitled to. And this has a lot of very powerful reprints in it. This has Common Fire Princess, and remember, you get 22 of these 27 cards per pack, so there's about an 80% chance to get any individual common. Winning this duel will get us 2 packs of Gold Series, and losing will get us 1. So this lets us pick up some cards like Fire Princess. We have a lot of cards for Fire Princess Burn, just not the Fire Princess itself. Needleworm gets a reprint, so if we can snipe 2 of these, we'll have a mill deck on our hands. We have Locusts, Scarabs, Lakuta, all the Pac-Man pieces. We have Doom Dozer. Doom Dozer is probably the biggest common for me specifically. Unfortunately, this comes with bad timing because Doom Dozer was one of the payoffs for the Advanced Ritual Art deck that I was planning on building once I got a second Doom Dozer. Unfortunately, with this reprint, ARA did get limited, so we won't be playing that deck until Advanced Ritual Art comes off of the limit list. And I do stand corrected, this will for us be 26 cards because Skill Drain gets reprinted, however Skill Drain is banned. So we will need to replace that with one of the 5 random cards that we did not get in the common slot. Rivalry is an interesting reprint as well. I don't believe I picked this up out of Magician's Force, and this is a pretty strong card. But now we get to the big guns, the 18 gold rares. We get 3 of these per pack, and almost all of these are bangers. The only one that is currently banned is Jinzo, so if we pull a Jinzo, we will need to re-roll that, but these are all amazing cards. Donzaloo, Breaker, DD Warrior Lady, Demox, Cyber Dragon, Gold, Grandmaster's terrifying because I know Demon loves 6 Sam. So if he gets one of these, that's going to be really scary, and he'll have an incredible 6 Sam deck. Swords of Revealing Light, Heavy Storm. So this is a ban episode, and I can get, depending on whether I win or lose this duel, either 1 or 2 bans. If I get 2 bans, I have to consider whether I want to try to go for a Heavy Storm out of these packs or just ban Heavy Storm, because that's a card that's been on my radar ever since he got rid of Feather Duster. Rhoda is in here as well. This will be an opportunity for Demon to get Rhoda, Brain Control, CCV. This is the first public reprint for Crush Card Virus. I have one already. So Demon might want to try to win this duel to have his chance at Crush Card Virus. If not, I wouldn't be surprised if he just banned Crush Card Virus now. And then we have a Mirror Force and Torrential Tribute reprints. So every single one of these packs is going to be loaded with incredible cards. And with the release of Light of Destruction, we have not 1, but 2 updates to the Forbidden and Limited list. There was an emergency update released in the middle of the season that limited a few more cards. So we'll go over the changes for you. Breaker, Moth, and Call of the Haunted are re-banned. And then we have quite a few limits. We have Ryza Limited, ARA Limited, Nock Limited, Ojama Trio Limited. I said this card would get limited eventually, and now it has been. And then Monster Reborn comes off the list. Sidra to 2, Lad to 2, Necroface to 2, Book of Moon to 2. This is a big one. We have had Book of Moon on the limited list for a while, and now we'll be able to play 2 again. Foolish to 2, Mage Power to 2. This is the first time that Mage Power has been at anything other than 1 for a while. And then Magical Stone Excavation to 2. The card didn't really end up doing much, so it did go from 1 to 2. And then we have some unlimits. Apprentice Magician, the 3 gadgets. Jinzo gets unlimited, but it is banned in our format. Creature Swap, Pot of Avarice, and Reckless Greed back to 3 copies, where they will mostly stay. And then we had an additional update in May of 2008 that banned Dimension Fusion, limited return from the different dimension. This was very necessary because there were some extremely powerful banishing archetypes that just wrecked the format, and these cards needed to go. And then Allure of Darkness went from 3 copies to 2 to try to do something about these dark decks, but it wound up not being enough. Alright, this is it. 24 copies of Light of Destruction, perhaps the biggest set in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So there are 3 things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a Gladiator Beast Geyseris, first of all, because that will give us a very solid Glad core. Second, I'm looking for a Lightsworn core. That is least likely to happen, but I would love to be able to play Lightsworn in progression. It's my favorite archetype, and it stays relevant for a long time just because of how powerful loading up the graveyard quickly is. And then the third thing I'm looking for is a Batteryman core. So let's go ahead and go over these 24 packs, see what we get out of the first one. And that is the card that I was looking for the Batteryman core. I actually failed to go over this during the pack discussion. So this is Batteryman Industrial Strength. This is the boss monster for the Batteryman archetype. It's basically BLS for Batteryman. You can banish 2 Batteryman monsters from your graveyard to be able to special summon this, and then you can, once per turn, banish a Thunder-type monster from your graveyard to destroy any monster and any spell trap on the field. It is extremely powerful. And there's a Microcell. Microcell is important for the Batteryman deck. And we got Quick Charger as well. And there's our first Jade. We also got a Volcanic Queen. Our first Limit Reverse. So many good cards in this set. This is going to shape deck building quite a bit. And there's our first super rare. It is Helios Trismegistus, which we can actually play if we really want to, because we have the Helios video game promos. I don't think this card is going to be worth playing, but it is cool to have the entire set and actually be able to play it. So Destruction Jammer is a counter trap that I didn't go over in the opening either. This lets you, by discarding a card, negate any effect that destroys monsters on the field. I still think My Body as a Shield is better for that sort of thing, but it is a counter trap option which can stop your opponent from responding. And there is another one. We don't need another one. We did get some other things, though. We got a portable battery pack, which is something that we're going to be looking for Batteryman, and I'm really looking forward to playing that deck. The deck has so many powerful plays, and we've just been waiting for Light of Destruction to be able to play the deck. There's another Limit Reverse, and there's our first Grogonith. We don't really want to play more than 2 of this card if we play a Lightsworn deck, but that card can be such a beating, especially in our limited format when we don't have easy access to Celestia. There's another Charger. That's actually our first Charger. That's the only really noteworthy card in this pack. I guess the Volcanic Queen, but that is a common, and that makes our playset of it. We won't be playing 3, though. That's more a 2-of side deck card, but I will take the Charger. I do want to see a Charger and Microcell in playsets to be able to make the Batteryman deck. Halfway through the box, and this has been a disaster so far. The only 2 supers that we've seen have been pretty terrible, and we have gotten nothing above a super rare in this box. We did get our first copy of Summon Limit, though. That's a card we're going to want to see 2 of. That could be relevant depending on if Demon gets a 6 Sam core as well, because Summon Limit tends to put the kibosh on the shenanigans that 6 Sam can make. And there is another super rare. It's not a bad one either. It's Light of Redemption. This lets you add, I believe, a banished light monster to your hand. Yes, at the cost of 800 life points, it lets you add a banished light monster to your hand. That is not a terrible super rare. It's at the very least playable. It's not amazing, but it's definitely playable. We also got another copy of Summon Limit, which is good, and we got another Charger, which we're looking for. Based on the pulls so far, I'm leaning towards Batteryman, but we will need to see where the rest of these packs go, because we do still still have 11 packs left to open. Alright, that fills out our playset of Quick Charger, but that's about it. These packs are not promising at all. And there is an ultimate rare. Unfortunately, it's a pretty bad ultimate rare. This is Super Ancient Dino Beast, and it is not great. It is tribute summonable for 1 tribute if you tribute a dinosaur-type monster, and then it's card of safe return for dinosaurs, but it's still not worth the payoff. Oh, we got the Ghost Rare! Honest! What is with Ghost Rares in this set? I think we've pulled one from almost every set at this point. And these are supposed to be 1 in 12 boxes, but that's something to drive us towards Lightsworn. And this is good in Batterymen as well, because all the Batterymen are lights. That's the first really amazing card that we've pulled. To play Batterymen, I would really like another Industrial Strength. We also need to see a playset of Microcell, but it is definitely a deck to consider. But we got 1 good card out of here. That's all I can expect out of this set, because so many of the amazing cards in this set are at high rarity. There's another Charger. We really need Microcell, though. We need Microcell bad. And there is a second ultimate rare. Unfortunately, it is not a good one. This is Dangerous Machine Type 6, which has various effects based on the roll of a die. I mean, most of the effects are pretty strong, but it's still just way too risky for my taste. And then the rest of these cards we already have playsets of, or they're not relevant. Or both. There's another Jane. It's not awful, but we're not going to get a Lightsworn core in 4 packs. We're really looking for that Batteryman stuff now, and the Geyseris. If we don't get a Geyseris, we can't play Glads. It's as simple as that. We need Geyseris to be able to play Glads. And there's another Microcell. That's a good start. We would like 1 more Microcell, ideally 1 more Industrial Strength, then we can actually play the Batteryman deck, but Industrial Strength is still a fine one of. I would really prefer to have a second one, and I'm probably going to aggressively go after wild cards to be able to finish the Batteryman deck, because it is quite powerful and can OTK out of nowhere. Also, that is our first copy of Demise of the Land, 21 packs in. Again, this is not good now, but it will be good later. Alright, so only a few packs left. Other than be honest, this has been a disaster of an opening. We have missed all of the important cards for Lightsworn. We have missed Substitoad. We still haven't seen Substitoad, which is very worrisome. We need 1 more Microcell still. That's a common. 1 more Industrial Strength would be ideal. So let's see what we can get out of our last 3 packs. None of those cards are very good. We already have them, unfortunately. That's our 3rd Froggy Force Field, which will not see play. And then our second to last pack. We did get another... No, we already have a playset of that. That's just so bad. Alright, and then for our very last pack, I need 1 Microcell, please. That did not have a Microcell, so we only have 2 Microcell and only 1 Industrial Strength. No Substitoad, no Lumina. That means we cannot play Lightsworn. And Frog is going to be a big problem for us. But we can still make use of the Honest, which is good. So we'll see what I can come up with. There's one of 2 decks I have in mind, but I will see what we will have available for building. See you in Deck Edit. So you might remember all the way back in a DM when I said that we would be taking a pile to the duel. Well, this is even more of a pile than any other deck that I've played up to this point. And this will be the last chance I'll have to play a deck like this, because this is the last time we'll have access to the GX Contact Fusion rule. So for the graduation match, I am playing Gigaplant OTK. So we got a lot of the cards for this deck a couple of sets ago, but there was one particular card in Light of Destruction that I was waiting on to really kick this deck into high gear, and that's Limit Reverse. So if you've never seen this before, this was an extremely janky combo deck that was around in the meta at the time, especially at certain locals, and this deck was on History of Jank for a reason. So what this is aiming to do is it's aiming to have 2 Gigaplants in rotation with one of our FTK enablers, such as Mass Driver and Cannon Soldier. So I'll go ahead and take you through the card by card. We have 1 Cannon Soldier as a search target for Sandgen or Witch to be able to FTK our opponent. or at least drop them in one turn if we are able to not have access to our other enablers. This one takes our normal summon, but it's a bit more searchable. We have 1 Crystal Seer to dig, 1 Cyber Jar to reset the board and dig, 1 copy of Disc Commander, Destiny Hero Disc Commander, newly won from our video game promos. This card is incredibly broken, and it's pre-errata as well. So the pre-errata version of this, just whenever it's special summoned from the graveyard, you get to draw 2 cards. It's not once per turn, and it has no restrictions on when it can be done either. So if you have multiple ways to special summon this out of the graveyard in the same turn, you get to draw 2 cards. We have Elemental Hero Neos Alias. This is a warrior to search off of reinforcement of the army. And E-Emergency Call. This is our only target for E-Emergency Call. This is the largest Gemini monster we have access to. We have 1 copy of Exiled Force to search off of reinforcement of the army if we need removal. 2 copies of Future Samurai. This is the next largest warrior Gemini that we have. And then our big win condition, which is a Gigaplant. I kind of wish I pulled 3 of this for the deck, but we can make this work with 2. So we want to get both of these in rotation, which with all the ways that we have to search this out, this is not hard to do. So what you want to do is you want to get 2 of these in rotation, and then when we get to the extra deck, I'll explain the combo a little bit more succinctly. 1 copy of Infinity Dark. This is the largest attack value Dark Gemini that we have access to. 1 King of the Swamp to search for polymerization. Triple Lone Fire Blossom, which has Gigaplant as its only target, so this is effectively Gigaplants 3, 4, and 5. A double Magical Reflect Slime. This is being played specifically for its stats. Because it's less than 1000 attack, we can get this off of Limit Reverse. And then Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest, rounding out our monsters for the spells. 1 E-Emergency Call is a virtual copy of Neos Alias. 1 Fusion Sage, 1 Future Fusion, 1 Gold Sark, 1 Last Will, 1 L-Lab, double Mass Driver. The reason why we're not playing 3 of this is because we can stall out the game quite a bit, and this is a card we don't want to see multiples of, plus we have redundancy in the form of Cannon Soldier. 1 Messenger of Peace to slow the game down, 1 Painful Choice to set up our graveyard, 1 Polymerization as a target for King of the Swamp, 1 Pot of Greed, 1 Rhoda, double Swing of Memories. So this is an extender that lets us go into our boss fusion monster, which I will get to when we get to the extra deck. This lets you target a normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase of turn. And remember, all Gemini monsters are treated as normal monsters while they're in the graveyard, so you can use this to bring out a Gemini monster from your graveyard. 1 Swords of Revealing Light, and then for the traps, Call of the Haunted, Dark Bride, Gravity Bind, Triple Limit Reverse. This is from Light of Destruction and is a pretty stellar card in this deck. You can target any monster with 1000 or less attack in your graveyard and special summon it in attack position, and then it gets destroyed if the Limit Reverse leaves the field or the monster gets changed to defense position. So this is primarily used just as a way to help get 2 Geminis on the field, as well as a recursion for Disc Commander. And then 1 Solemn Judgment rounding out the main deck. For the extra, the big thing we're built around is Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. This is a fusion of any 2 Gemini monsters and treats all Gemini monsters on the field as effect monsters, and they gain their effects. So you want to turbo this out as quickly as possible, and then all you need to have is 1 of our FTK enablers, and then 2 Gigaplants in rotation. So what you can do to be able to use this as a win condition is you can have your Raptinus and then make a Gigaplant, either by Lone Fire or some other way to get it out, and then you can activate its effect to special summon an insect or plant monster from your graveyard, which will be the other Gigaplant, and then you can tribute the Gigaplant that already used its effect to Cannon Soldier or Mass Driver to deal damage to your opponent. Then you can use the second Gigaplant to resurrect the first Gigaplant, and it's an infinite loop. Now for the side deck, we have triple DD Crow for the Dark World match, 3 copies of Card Trader. Remember when we pulled all those Strike of Neos foils? We got 3 copies of this card. I don't have this in the main deck because I don't know how fast Demon's deck is going to be. If he's playing a slower deck, I'm going to bring this in out of the board to try to go for a little bit more consistency, because this deck is not the most consistent, but it will win the game on the spot if it gets its win condition. And then 1 Confiscation, not playing this in the main deck because of Dark World specifically, since that is his best deck. 1 MST, double Prohib, 1 D-Prison, 1 Dust Tornado, 1 Mirror Force, and double Soul Resurrection. If our opponent plays hate for this deck, such as a lot of back row removal or just some kind of effect negation, we can bring these in as additional extenders to be able to just use Gigaplant as a win condition by attacking, because it does have 2400 attack as well. I am super excited to play this deck. If we get one win with this deck, it will be, I wouldn't say a miracle, but it would be glorious if we can take a game with this deck, let alone the entire match. But I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer for our graduation match, and for the last time, it is time to get your game on!
The feel to be a graduate.
No kidding. It seems like we just entered Duel Academy not too long ago. What a quick 3 years it's been. Both of us in Obelisk Blue, and now it's our graduation match with a set that has impacted our format substantially. There are so many good cards across the rarity spectrum in this set. I'm kind of nervous, not gonna lie.
Oh, trust me, I feel the same way. Let's see who could take the final W of Duel Academy.
Oh, that's a good start.
Well, I ain't getting that one.
That's a good start.
I ain't getting that one, at least.
I will take the play. Good luck, Duelist.
Alright.
Draw for turn. Stand by, main. That's a good start. I'm going to fire Pot of Greed.
Ooh, that is a good start. Alright.
I'm going to fire E-Emergency Call.
Ooh, alright. Going on the heroes.
I am going to get myself a copy of Elemental Hero Neos Alias.
Oh, you pulled one.
Yep.
Interesting.
Then I am going to also activate Rhoda.
Gross. Okay.
I'm going to grab myself an... what do I want? I think I'm just going to get Exiled Force.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Then I'm going to run out a 1900 guy.
Alright.
Then I will set one and pass my turn.
Alright, draw. Standby, main. Ooh, okay. So, Rye.
Alright, let's see it.
How does it feel knowing we're about to have a fucking mirror?
Well, it's not like it's unexpected.
Yeah, admittedly, it's not all that surprising. I mean, think about it. This is the last chance we have for contact fusion outside of specific monsters, and honestly, it's GX. How are we not going to have heroes?
Exactly.
Alright, I think I'm going to add a copy of Elemental Hero Clayman to my hand.
I mean, that'll stop Alias.
I'm going to run out a copy of Wildheart.
Sure.
And I'm going to I'm going to add a copy of H Heated Heart.
You got it. I mean, that outs the Alias.
Yep, so let's beat over the big shiny boy.
Take 100, Alias down.
And I'll pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. Thinking. I have a couple of different lines here. I'm going to activate Future Fusion.
Ooh, okay.
I will show you, and this will give away what I'm doing. I'm going to show you Super Alloy Beast Raptinus.
Oh! Wait a second. Geminis. Okay, that is not what I was expecting at all. Oh, hell no. You're playing Gigaplan OTK?
Then I'm going to set a monster, and I will pass the turn.
Ah, hell. Okay, draw. Standby, main. Oh, God. What do I want to do? Let's see. Do I really want to do that, though? Yeah, I kind of feel like I have to. I'm going to activate another E-Emergency Call.
You got it.
Let's add a copy of Elemental Hero Avion to my hand.
So you thought I was on Hero. Joke's on you, buddy.
Yep. Well, if your trap card, if your face down is something bad, then I'm screwed, but I'm going to shuffle these back.
What are we making?
Bringing out a copy of Elemental Hero Wild Wingman.
That is a Wild Wingman. Yeah, that's going to pop. No, that's good. That's going to pop Future Fusion, unfortunately.
I'm going to pitch my other copy of Wildheart and pop the Future Fusion.
Oh, you're going to pop the other one too?
I'm thinking about it, honestly. As much as I don't like the idea of it, I feel like I have to for safety.
It's my limit reverse.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Battle phase, let's see what you got.
It is my Future Samurai.
Future Samurai. Oh, that's interesting.
It's the only Warrior Gemini. It's the only Warrior Gemini that we have access to right now.
Huh.
Other than, of course, Neos Alias.
Right.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I am gonna Normal summon exiled porcelain with priority. I am gonna pop.
Okay.
Then I'm going to set a back row and activate Messenger of Peace and pass the turn.
Oh, God. Okay. Draw. Stand by main. Well, Messenger of Peace can't stop the witch.
No, it cannot. 11 in.
In for 11. And pass the turn.
Draw for turn. Stand by. I will pay for Messenger of Peace. Not that many life points. Main. Set a back row. Go ahead.
Alright. Draw. Stand by main. I guess I'll just go in for another 11.
I do have the Gravity Bind also.
Of course you do. Okay. Main 2, I'll just end.
Draw for turn. Stand by. I will pay for Messenger of Peace. Main. I will set one and pass the turn.
Alright. Stand by main. Do I even have any outs to this effectively? Not really. God, do I really want to do that? Yeah, I might as well. I'm gonna run out King of the Swamp.
I mean,
And
it's.
I guess I'll flash his forehead light into your eyes.
Sure, I take 500 points damage.
And I'll switch the witch to defense.
Draw for turn. Stand by. I will pay for Messenger. Main. I will pass the turn.
Alright. Draw. Stand by main. Ooh, there's a good card. Alright, so I'm gonna sacrifice my witch to run out Ryza the Storm Monarch.
That's really good.
And let's go ahead and hit your Gravity Bind back to the top of the deck.
Sure, that will go on top of the deck.
I may not be able to hit. My reasoning is because, yeah, I can attack still with Ryza, but this is still going to bleed you another 100 points.
It will.
So,
alright, I'll draw the Gravity Bind. Stand by, pay for Messenger. Main, I will set a card, could be anything.
could be anything.
And I will pass the turn.
Draw. Stand by, main. This King of the Swamp has probably done more damage than any other monster has ever done in its history.
It's getting the work done.
I'm going to summon out an Elemental Hero Avion.
That's ugly.
Let's go ahead and speed this clock up a little bit.
15. Draw for turn. Stand by thinking. I'm going to keep it up for one more turn. Main. Then I'll pass.
Draw. Stand by. Main. Oh, if only you were level 3. Oh well. Battle phase.
I'll take it all.
Main phase 2, I will set a monster, and I will pass.
Draw for turn. Stand by. Do I want to pay for it one more time?
I'm actually kind of surprised you haven't pulled a monster yet to guard you.
I'm going to let it go.
Okay.
Main. I'm going to set a monster and pass.
Alright. Draw. Stand by, main. That's not what I wanted to see. Well, actually, wait. Let me think here. Ooh, that could be a thing. Question is, does it actually help any? Problem is, if I do that, it's not going to give me as much to work with, but I need to, if nothing else, I need to make sure I could clear out that monster, whatever it is. Okay, I'm going to run out an Elemental Hero Wildheart.
Sure.
I'm going to spin the King of the Swamp and Wildheart back to my deck.
Is this another Wild Wingman?
For Elemental Hero Necroid Shaman.
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad.
So I will, with Prio, I will activate its effect to target your face down monster.
You got my Crystal Seer. I'm sure you want to summon that back.
Yeah.
That goes to my field, not yours.
Right. That actually works out better for me, because I was actually going to have to summon back your Reflect Slime. But Avion in.
Sure. 900 in. And then I do have the Gravity Bind.
Alright.
Draw. Stand by main.
Times like this where I really wish I had Righteous Justice available to me.
Boy, no kidding. This is a thinker. I'm going to be a while this time. What is the line here? Is there a way I can get this in rotation? As it turns out, playing combo decks is hard, because if I do that... I'm mostly trying to see if I have enough summons to be able to make this work. What's the level on this again? Perfect. So that works at least. So I can use that to get that one. Normal. I just have to go through this a couple of times to make sure this line works. If this works, I think I win. Activate that. Gets the reflex slime. That gets me that, which gets me one of them. I can normal this, do that, contact out. Yeah, I think I win.
All right, let's see what you got.
Okay, I think I win. I'm going to activate Limit Reverse, targeting my magical reflect slime.
Okay, wait, okay.
I'm going to proceed to battle phase. I'm going to attack into your avian. I will take 300.
What the hell are you doing?
Main phase 2, I'm going to activate Last Will.
Okay.
I'm going to search for Lone Fire Blossom. This was the thing I was missing. I'm going to tribute Lone Fire Blossom for Gigaplant. I'm going to normal summon Future Samurai. I'm going to Swing of Memories for the magical reflex slime that I just destroyed. I'm going to contact out.
Okay. What the hell are you?
Not to hand. For Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. So all monsters are treated as Gemini monsters and gain their effects. So I'm going to activate the effect of Gigaplant, and I'm going to target the Gigaplant that's in my graveyard.
Okay.
I'm going to activate Mass Driver.
Oh, fuck.
So for those of you viewers that don't understand how this works, what I'm going to do is the Gigaplant that's already used its effect, I'm going to tribute that Gigaplant to do 400 damage to my opponent. Then I'm going to use the effect of the Gigaplant that was just summoned to be able to special summon the second Gigaplant. And then this Gigaplant hasn't used its effect yet because this is not a hard once per turn, this is a soft once per turn. So then I contribute this Gigaplant that already used its effect to deal you 400 points of damage. Then the second Gigaplant will revive the first one, and then I will repeat this until Demon is out of life points.
Unfucking believable.
I just didn't have a way to get to Lone Fire. If I had a way to get to Lone Fire, I could have killed you on probably turn 2. Now it gets hard, because now I have to deal with your side deck. So this deck is the reason why Mass Driver got limited, and then the next deck that abused this card got it banned.
You know, the fucked up part is, as soon as I saw the Gemini, I was like, oh, you're playing Gigaplant OTK? Wow. And it fucking hit me too late. I was like, wait, he's playing the OTK. Shit. God, that sucks. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Alright, draw. Stand by main.
It just took me so long to get a way to get Lone Fire. I play so many ways to get to Lone Fire, and I just couldn't draw one.
Alright. Well, I get to start with this since you started with yours.
Seems okay.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Oh, what side deck card did you get?
Alright. I'm gonna start by setting one card, setting a monster, and passing the turn.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I am going to set 2 and pass.
Alright, draw. Stand by, main. What the? I'm gonna set a monster, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I am going to pass.
Alright, draw. Stand by, main. Alright, I'm gonna start by flip summoning Magician of Faith to get Pot of Greed back.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Alright, and let's fire it off.
You got it.
Okay, let's see. I'm going... And I think I'll activate Graceful Charity as well.
Yup. You know that card's days are numbered.
Oh, I know. I know that. Let's send a Bubble Man. I don't think I'm going to have an empty field in hand anytime soon.
I don't think so.
And a Spark Man.
Sure.
Then, here's a fun card, buddy.
Alright, what do I have?
I'm going to flip summon Cyberjar!
Main phase Cyberjar, you got it.
Ooh. Alright.
So I'll put this Well, I have Mass Driver. I have Swing. And then the monsters are Magical Reflex Slime, Crystal Seer, and a Cyber Jar of my own. So
that didn't work out entirely as I had hoped, but it doesn't matter as much when I have Swords of Revealing Light.
Yup. So I'm going to okay, so I think I'm going to make Cyber Jar Chainlink 1 and Crystal Seer Chainlink 2.
Alright. Ooh, those are pretty good.
I'll take the Call of the Haunted. And then all the things will explode.
Ooh, Disc Commander.
Yeah, Disc Commander is pretty good. So,
and a Lone Fire.
So
okay.
I'll put this Limit Reverse in my hand. I'll put this Level Limit in my hand. And then it's Alias, Disc Commander, and Lone Fire. I think I'm actually going to just normal the... Or not normal, but special summon and face-up attack the Alias.
Alright, let's see.
Well, there's one that's really good for you to kill, and one that's really bad for you to kill.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see what else we can do with this. I have not normal summoned this turn.
Correct, you have not normaled.
Let's see. What all can I do here? Okay. This is actually a slight problem for me. I have a lot of options. I almost have choice paralysis at this point.
I mean, you have a lot of cards in your hand.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
I count 14.
Yep. Okay.
This is what happens when multiple Cyber Jars go off, and probably why the card is still banned.
Yep. Okay. So, we have Disc Commander, Lone Fire. Okay. So, first things first, I'm going to activate E-Emergency Call.
You got it.
Let's get ourselves another Wild Heart. I will run out said Wild Heart.
I mean, you can clean them both up now.
Yeah, especially because I have H-Heated Heart.
Yep.
For one.
So that's 2k.
And H-Heated Heart for the other.
You can do some cleanup on aisle 5 here.
So, 2k into this one.
Alright, that was the Disc Commander. I'll take 17.
And 2k into your Lone Fire.
I'll take 6.
Main phase 2. I'm going to set 2. I'll set 3. Go to end phase, and I will pitch this Avion and this Sparkman to hand size.
Draw for turn. Standby main. I'm going to activate Polymerization.
Okay.
Polymerization good?
Polymerization's good.
Alright, I'm gonna make Raptinus.
Yeah, about that. Fuck that thing.
Nah.
Oh. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that still serves my purpose for the most part, but...
Yeah, it does get rid of the interruption. Then I'm going to activate Last Will.
On chain, I'm going to book your Raptinus.
That'll do. Yep. This will get set.
You could get your Lone Fire, I don't care, but I'll be damned if
The question is, do I actually want to get Lone Fire now?
Well, the funny thing is, you keep in mind, with the way Last Will is worded, you actually don't have to get it right now.
Yeah, I don't have
You can actually choose to wait until the very end.
I'm aware. I don't have to get it now. I'm just seeing... because I haven't normaled yet either.
True. I will say, too, granted, I get that it's partially because of the fact that it's been banned forever, but I'm honestly surprised they never bothered to errata Last Will to force it to be, like, at activate or at resolution.
Yep. Well, now I gotta think again. With all these cards in hand, can I make another Raptinus? Can I make another Raptinus and have it be useful is the question. Yeah, that's the question, is can I make another one this turn? I haven't normaled yet either. I think I'm one short. I don't think I can go off this turn. Yeah, you're gonna get another turn, unfortunately. I am going to set 1, 2, and then activate Level Limit.
Okay.
And then I'll pass the turn.
Alright, so that's turn 1 on Swords. Standby, main.
I think that Book of Moon bought you 1 turn.
Let's see. How exactly do I want to deal with this? Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to run out Exile Force, and with Prio, I'm going to sack it to hit this.
That will out the Raptinus.
Okay. Only downside is you can bring that back potentially, so I will have to be mindful of that. Let's see. How crazy do I want to get with this is the question. Okay. I think I'm going to activate Miracle Fusion. Any response to this?
What do you have in here? I'm going to Dark Bribe that.
Okay. So this gets negated, and I draw a card.
Yes.
Damn it. Okay.
That's not what that was for, but I know you can
All right.
make Wild Wingman, so...
I'm gonna
I think
Emergency
you're
Call.
going to make Wild Wingman one way or another.
That's honestly the hope. Alright, so I'm going to summon out Avion.
Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to make you do it this way. Because that's less board presence you have.
Fair.
The Wild Wingman won't be able to attack, at least.
Right. Because even if I declare the problem is, the only way I would have to pass priority in order to let level limit activate in order to try to keep this in attack mode otherwise, which honestly is not worth it because that still gives you the chance to use something else here.
It still goes to defense anyway, because this is a continuous effect.
True.
So,
okay,
so
I'll pitch to pop that.
Sure, level limit's gone.
I will pitch, pop that.
I will chain limit reverse, targeting Disc Commander.
Ooh, okay. See.
So I get to draw 2 cards.
Right. And then I'm going to... The fact that I had to spend my normal summon for that too sucks. I'm going to switch Wildheart to attack mode and hit for 15.
15 it.
Main phase 2, I will set another card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. Now I gotta think again. How do I get back to this board state? I think all roads start with Painful Choice.
Painful Choice, huh?
Yeah, I think all roads start with Painful Choice.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright, we're gonna dump...
God, that Dark Bribe really screwed me up, and it makes me... I'm honestly more annoyed at the fact that I don't have access to Dark Bribe for a while now.
Well, the first thing I'm doing is I'm dumping both Gigaplants.
Right.
Let's dump... What else do I want to dump here? I have one in my bin already, so I don't think that actually matters. You have a Wild Wingman up, so that doesn't actually matter. Cannon Soldier, Reflex Slime, and... Fusion Sage. So the pile is Gigaplant, Gigaplant, Cannon Soldier, Magical Reflex Slime, Fusion Sage.
Okay. I think... I don't like it, but I'm gonna have to give you a Gigaplant.
Okay, I'll take a Gigaplant.
I feel like that loop is coming no matter what happens.
I am going to activate Limit Reverse, targeting Magical Reflex Slime.
Okay.
I am going to activate Swing of Memories, targeting Alias.
Okay.
I'm going to contact out.
Okay.
Make another one.
And I've got another one.
Oh, you got another... Oh, right! Book of Moon's at 2!
Yep. Just freshly back to 2.
God damn it. That's no good. I have not normaled yet, so I think I'm going to go ahead and normal this Exiled Force, and with priority I'm going to take out the Wild Wingman.
Okay.
Then I'm going to set 3 cards face down, and I will pass the turn.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. Oh, this is turn 2. There is exactly... I see exactly 1 out, potentially, to this. Alright. I'm gonna sacrifice Clayman to summon out Rise of the Storm Monarch.
Oh,
and bound in that top.
Extra, yep.
And Wildheart for 15.
Boy, this is not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna call the Haunted for my other Raptinus.
Okay. Thinking. Let's see. That came back to bite me in the ass so hard.
That's the reason why I saved the Call of the Haunted for so long.
So you have Gigaplant in hand.
Yeah, I do have a Gigaplant
and 2 cards I do not know of.
Yeah, I believe that is correct. I believe the hand is Gigaplant and 2 unknowns.
Unless, wait a minute. No, Lofire's in there. This Commander's in there. Alias is gone. L-Lab is gone. Limit Reverse was gone. Mass Driver is either in your hand or on the field.
Oh, right, you do know I have a Mass Driver.
You went through Swing, you went through the Slime, you went through the Crystal Seer, and the Cyber Jar. Okay, so I need to find a... Okay, so...
Okay, so first does the Call of the Haunted resolve?
Yeah, the Call of the Haunted resolves.
And I'm assuming you're not going to redeclare with Wild Heart.
Let's see. Is there anything? No. Yeah, I'm not gonna redeclare.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Ryza in.
This is not going to go.
I knew that was. Yeah, I figured that was gonna happen.
Yeah, that's
all right.
That's not going to go through either.
Main 2. I will set another card and I will pass.
Draw for turn. Stand by. Main. I have Swing of Memories. I'm going to target Gigaplant.
Yeah, that's good.
Effective Gigaplant.
Yeah.
I'll special summon the other one from hand.
Yeah.
Activate Mass Driver.
Fuck off.
I can't believe I actually won with that. I thought this was going to be a pile.
Twice. That's twice. I was 1 turn away from winning that game. But winning this game and game 1, and I got fucked.
Yeah, so I can't believe I actually managed to combo out both games. I thought that you had a bunch of like graveyard hate in your side deck still if you were playing hero. I was thinking you were going to run the Dark Worlds back again, so I tailored my main deck to try to beat that since I knew you wouldn't have Macros. But you can very well play Macros in this deck, and if you have a resolved Macros, it's almost impossible for me to win the game. So The reason why I built this deck, besides the Lone Fire, by the way, I pulled 3 Lone Fire. That's the primary reason why I played this deck.
I'm honestly not shocked. I only pulled 1 Lone Fire, unfortunately.
So that was like the 3 Lone Fire. I did only get 2 Gigaplant, which made me a little bit nervous because if any of the Gigaplants get vanished, I have to win the game with Beatdown, which isn't too bad because I have 2400s. The other reason why I played this deck is back earlier in GX, I didn't bring them in because I thought there was too much backer removal in your deck for Wild Wingman and whatnot. But I pulled not 1, not 2, but 3 card traders.
Really? Wow.
I had them in my...
That's actually surprising.
I had them in my... That's a super rare too, by the way.
Yeah, that's what makes it so shocking that you managed to pull that.
So I'm actually just going to go ahead and mill out... I'm going to go ahead and mill out the deck so you can see it. This was another Limit Reverse. So yeah, so I'll just go ahead and mill out the deck to show it to you.
Yeah, that's honestly... This is actually really neat, and honestly, it's really cool to see that it actually worked out.
Yeah, I was pretty amazed that this actually worked out. So the last card that I cut from this deck was the 3rd Swing, but in retrospect, this should probably be playing 3 Swing just because it's another extender. And I wanted to play it for this matchup specifically because the Contact Fusion rule makes Raptinus so much more consistent. Because if I had more than 1 King of the Swamp, I would consider playing this deck through 5Ds as well. If I can pull some plant support out of the early 5D sets, this might come back, but this particular list is actually really tight. The Future Samurai is the only other warrior that I can search for with reinforcement of the army. The E-Emergency Call has exactly 1 target, which is Neos Alias. I was trying to keep the combo as dense as possible while being able to thin the deck out as much as possible. The Exiled Forces just strictly erode a target in case I need removal. Unfortunately, one play that I thought of when I built this deck is discarding King of the Swamp to get polymerization, and then using Limit Reverse to bring it back to try to contact out for Raptinus, but you can't contact fuse Raptinus with King of the Swamp because the fusion substitutes have to actually have monsters listed. The fusion requirements for King of the Swamp to work can't be generic.
Right. Oh, so you only had 1 polymerization in the whole deck.
Yeah, I only had 1 polymerization because...
Damn. So when you dump Fusion Sage out of Painful Choice, that was bait.
It was. I was just trying to get it out of my deck, so I didn't draw it. And then the Cannon Soldier is in here. So you didn't get to see it, but the Cannon Soldier is in here as a last will target if I don't have Mass Driver. The Infinity Dark is the largest Gemini that I can search for with Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest. Because the hardest part of this deck, honestly, is getting the 2 Geminis for to make Raptinus in the first place. The rest of the combo, for the most part, is searchable. Mass
Right.
Driver is the only card that isn't searchable, but Cannon Soldier will function as well. You can summon that back off Call of the Haunted. There's some really... So Magical Reflex Slime is in here specifically because it's a Gemini that I can summon off of Limit Reverse. Limit Reverse is so good in this deck. I think Limit Reverse is low-key an amazing card.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I remember using Limit Reverse a fair amount when it came to synchro time, simply because it helped a lot in that regard, because it helped get like the weaker tuners out like in Playground. So it was actually a lot of fun there. And this actually worked out really nicely to get your little weenie Geminis out too.
It did. Just the hardest, like I said, the hardest part of this deck was just getting the material for Raptinus, and you had Book of Moon for it twice. I don't know how I managed to combo off both games.
So, fun note, you know how in mid-game, or in between, I mentioned I forgot to add a card? I forgot to add MST.
Oh no! Oh no, that would have made a huge difference.
That actually could have made a big difference, because if nothing else, I figured, okay, like I went to side and I was like, okay, I definitely know I can like do this, I could cut this, and if I see MST, I could clear out Mass Driver. And then as I'm looking at the list, I'm like, wait, I forgot to add that. Because my thing is, when I built the deck, I ended up using an old copy of the deck from, I want to say it was like, maybe like Power of the Duelist or something, and then I like tweaked it to add the more recent cards, as well as other stuff that I was like, that I had more copies of. So I ended up completely forgetting about MST simply because it was a staple that wasn't in the old deck. So it didn't even cross my mind that, hey, you might need to re-add that.
I'm a little surprised that you left the Hero Signals and the Magic Cylinder in, because this deck didn't really do much attacking.
I didn't. The reason I left them in was simply because I figured if it got to a point where I could kind of lock you down a little more, I figured maybe if you weren't able to see Mass Driver or something like that, that you would have to try to start attacking. And honestly, I was considering whether or not I wanted to ram Wildheart into Raptinus to set off a hero signal. The problem was, I was like, do I even have anything that would help me in that regard? And unfortunately, I have nothing left in the deck that actually would have helped me by crashing Wildheart in there, so kind of didn't work out in that regard.
Alright then. Well, that is it for Duel Academy, but we have one little business trip to go on in between our trip from Duel Academy to New Domino City, and that is the Hall of Eternity.
Yep.
So, with both of us having graduated from Duel Academy, we are on the way to New Domino City, but before we go there, we do need to make a trip over to the Hall of Eternity. Now, because of the 5-2 record in the second half of GX, I will only get one ban of this update, and then Demon will get 4. He will get 3, then I will get 1, and Demon will get his last one. So...
Oh, okay. The funny thing is I actually already have yours up, because I already know exactly what it is.
I mean, to be fair, that card is busted.
It is, and I'm honestly not surprised at all that you're gonna hit Graceful.
Yeah. So, well, you have a Dark World deck, first of all, but let's go ahead and get down to business for the first of the 3 cards that you get to remove from the format. So, DemonBattler, before we head to New Domino City, may I ask for the first card that you would like to send to the stars, please?
Alright, so, the first one we're sending off to the stars is actually one that, funny enough, we both have a copy of. However, I haven't been using it nearly as much, and you've actually been using this a lot more lately. I'm going to send to the stars Confiscation.
Not surprised.
Like, even though I have a copy of it, the fact of the matter is, I have a lot of times where I don't have the space in the deck to really run it, and honestly, it's good, but we definitely have other options for disruption as it is anyway.
I'm okay with Confi going. I figured it was a matter of time before the hand removal started to come out, and I am going to let you in on a little secret. If I did get a second ban, it was going to be the Forceful Sentry.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much.
Alright, so Confiscation is now removed from the format. Alright, what's your second one? What do we get to send to the stars now?
Alright, so the second one is one that actually was seen in this duel, and we've seen it a few other times, and in fact, honestly, it makes me, I'm honestly surprised that I had never seen it in the, well actually no, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that I didn't see it in the water deck, but I'm gonna shut down Gravity Bind.
Okay, so we're starting to hit the attack floodgates now too. I can see this. There are a number of attack floodgates that are in the format now, and Gravity Bind is probably the best one, just because it can be activated at spell speed 2. It's gonna get less good once we get to other
Xyz format, yeah.
Specifically, because then we wind up having monsters that don't have levels, but there have been a lot of control decks that have been causing you trouble, so I can see this ban. I think it's a good ban.
And then, for the third ban, yeah, I'm gonna be entirely honest, this is definitely a bit of a rage ban, but the fact is, the fact that you were able to pull it off at all is already insane. And quite frankly, I want to make sure that this kind of thing, this degeneracy doesn't happen more often. So I'm going to go into left field, and I'm going to go ahead and send to the stars Gigaplant.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, because you also don't want me playing Gigavias later.
Exactly. This thing got to show its heyday. This thing got to show off, and it actually got to work. So you know what? That's a good send-off for it.
That is. Admittedly, the deck gets less consistent without the Contact Fusion rule, which we will be saying goodbye to once we get to New Domino City, but I am okay with being able to play that deck once. I admittedly did the same thing with King Tiger Wangu back in DM, and I don't regret that ban at all. And
oh no.
For my one ban, this is not going to surprise anybody. I did not pull a Graceful Charity out of Dark Beginning 2. It does get a couple reprints later on, but I think you've had this card too long. Graceful Charity's gone.
Yeah, I'm honestly not surprised at all. Like, if anything, the fact that honestly, I feel like Pot of Greed is a card that we're never gonna ban simply because of the fact that we both have it, and the fact that as crazy as it can be, it's not as busted as some of this other stuff. So, Graceful Charity going does kind of hurt, but at least with my Dark Worlds, I do have alternatives to work with, and on top of that, this card, admittedly, this card has actually kind of hurt me a couple times as well, so I'm kind of okay seeing it gone.
I think Graceful Charity, the farther we get into progression, I think Graceful Charity is more powerful than Pot of Greed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, especially because of the fact that a lot of cards get effects going to the graveyard, or while in the graveyard, so...
Alright. Well,
so that leaves the final ban.
You get the last word. Demon, what is the final card that you would like to send to the stars on our trip to New Domino City?
This is actually one that only saw the light of day once, but the fact is, it's something that, once again, can be readily abused, and I'd kind of like to avoid that being a situation in the future. You may have gotten him recently in the promos, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to say goodbye to Destiny Hero Disc Commander.
That's fine. That's fine. Disc Commander is absolutely broken, especially with all the ways we have to revive a Disc Commander.
Oh yeah, exactly.
We're going to have multiples of Call of the Haunted in the near future, and given that we had a common Call of the Haunted reprint, and I think there's another common Call of the Haunted reprint coming as well, we're going to have multiples of that, so I am perfectly okay with Destiny Hero Disc Commander leaving the format. I like all these bans. I think these bans are going to lead to a very healthy format going into Synchro format. There are still a few problem cards that need to be addressed, but I think we're going to have a much more balanced format, and I'm super excited for 5Ds.
Right. So I guess there's one thing... Oh, I just noticed too, I didn't even pull any Gigaplant either, so that actually works out for me.
It does.
But, so I guess there is one thing that I figure we should ask about now, is that I think, to be fair, since you won the graduation duel, I think you should be the one to get to decide whether or not, like, which type we're going to start with for the next episode.
Yep, and we are going to have a pretty substantial change planned for 5Ds, but you'll have to find out what that is at the beginning of the next episode. It's going to be pretty
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be pretty fire, I'll put it that way. Alright, I'm going to go crack my 2 mini boxes of Gold Series. Good luck on yours. I'm perfectly content with getting to Gigaplant OTK Demon exactly once, and it just does not surprise me that he banned it, especially because we have other abuses for Gigaplant as well. There's some big plant monsters in early 5Ds, and like plant is a huge archetype, just in general, but for winning this duel, we will get to crack 2 mini boxes of Gold Series 2008. I'm super excited to crack these. We can get really powerful staples in this. We can get things like Torrential, just Breaker, so many amazing cards, and the commons are sick. So let's go ahead and open up our first pack and see what we get. Oh, we got a third Cyber Dragon, and we're gonna have to re-roll this gold rare Jinzo because that did wind up getting banned. So we're gonna have to open another pack to get a replacement one, and a third Chimera Tech. Not gonna be too helpful. We got the Needleworm, so Mill can wind up being a thing. We're gonna have a Skill Drain to re-roll as well. So these aren't too bad. We got the Doom Dozer because I do have an ARA deck that I'm looking for Doom Dozers for as well. We got a Rivalry. Those are pretty good. And then let's go ahead and open up our second pack. See if we can snipe like a Torrential or something. That would be pretty sweet. We got another Sidra. That's our fourth. Oh, we got a Dawn. That's not bad. We got Donzelu. We got another Swords. That puts us up to 3. It is limited. So what we will do for this is I will need to take one additional pack, and then once we have that one additional pack, I'll need to take the first 2 commons, as well as the first gold rare that shows up in that pack, and add them to the collection. So I'll just go ahead and take care of that real quick now, and see what we wind up with. So we're gonna get this leftmost gold rare. So I'm gonna go ahead and just flip this up now, see what we get. We got another Mirror Force. Mirror Force is limited right now, but we will have a second copy of it when it does go to 2. And then let's see what we get for our 2 commons. It's going to be a Locust and an 8-Claw Scorpion, so nothing special. But I'm super happy with these cards. These were pretty sick. Alright, and that's going to wrap it up for the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX arc of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression Series. Join us next time when we complete our trip to New Domino City and start the Synchro Era. Until then, see you around.